years, I've seen it, depending on what your cost of energy projections there are, somewhere between 12 and 18 years, et cetera. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to look at. And
photovoltaic systems are expensive.
yes.
There's no doubt about it. There is different ways to reduce the cost. One of them is through a PPA. PPA, you can use 30% federal tax incentive to reduce the cost. But because you don't pay taxes, you cannot claim those taxes. So a third party who can actually claim those taxes can take that 30% and pretty much reduce your cost by 30%. There is incentives. California Solar Initiative. Right now, they pay over 5 years. Roughly, there will be about, what is that, 15%, something? 15% of your cost. So now you have, what, 45% of your cost because incentives and because tax credits. And it gets better because I believe the federal government, through the new stimulus package, they're looking at a 30% grant from the Department of Energy. You can claim. So now, you know, you don't even have to go through a PPA. You can probably claim that 30% grant and apply that to the cost of the PV. Still, the PV is expensive. However, let me just give you a couple of good news. And one of them is that some of the material, solar photovoltaic panels, are coming down in pricing, about 10–15% from last year. Steel, last year steel was 20–30% higher. Now it's about 20–30% cheaper. So all those things make possible these days a less expensive photovoltaic system.
Sir, I've got just a basic conceptual question, and I don't want a long answer to it, just a very short answer. But from what I've read, and I'm not an expert on this at all, like I'm going to say that right up front. But from what I've read, the technology is changing so rapidly that what you buy and install, by the time you get it installed, it's going to be obsolete. Why wouldn't we, given what the size of the operation we have, split it up into tenths and put a tenth in every year for diversification?
That's actually what we're recommending. The 8 megawatts are spread out in about 5 years.
5 years.
Now, we can do it in 10 years. We don't have any rush in installing hundreds of megawatts in your system and your installations.
Okay, great. Any other questions? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like to, and we're getting down to the end here, call for the stakeholder and community comments, and we have speaker slips. Mr. Vice President?
The first speaker is Don Petrelli.
I'm Don Petrelli, and I'm here under the hat of Laney College Facilities Committee co-chair and Laney College Vocational Advisory Committee acting chair and Department of the Graphic Arts chair. So any one of those hats, I'll speak to the process by which these reports came forth and the report by which it was said that they came forth. And if I felt empowered in that process, somebody forgot to tell me that I was supposed to be somewhere to be involved with that. And I do believe I heard it early in the presentation that they reached down right down to the section level, which I think I would know about being a department chair. So what I'm trying to say to you is two things. First of all, the process doesn't make us feel like we've had buy-in. We've had buy-in into our educational master plan, which is said to have driven the facilities plan. Our educational master plan wasn't complete by the time this master plan came out, this facilities master plan. So how that happened, I don't know. The other thing is I'd like to commend Chancellor Harris for bringing up students as the first voice to do so, and then Trustee Handy for also mentioning students in the process. And I don't categorically reject this plan. There are some good parts in it, I think, and of course that's all a matter of opinion and how it affects you. But what I think is missing is alternatives to what's being presented, what the other points that might have been brought out through different processes as possible alternatives. I don't see any of those here. And in the long run, what it is that affects the classroom. The educational delivery of what we teach to the student, how it makes the student progress better, to be a better graduate of the college system that we provide to them, how it helps the teachers to provide that education at a better level. A lot of it is cosmetic, outdoor. We saw the glitz in the presentations, which, having been a former architecture student, I understand how that works. It's nice to put flags on building and waving in the front because it makes things look pretty. But what we got to realize is that anything we do, first and foremost, and I would hope the board agrees with me on this, has to affect the student and what gives them a better education. And that part of that is making their faculty and administration feel like they have input right from the beginning in all processes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Lewis Quinlan.
Professor Quinlan had to leave. He has classes to teach. But if you allow me to make the comments that he wanted to make, I will do so.
Sure.
I'm Carolyn Van Putten, President of Laney College Faculty Senate, Vice President of the District Academic Senate, and a psychology tenured faculty person here at Peralta. Professor Quinlan is one of the program chairs whose program would be affected by some of the recommendations that were made in the plan for Laney. And his question, or his comment is, your plan shows cosmetology moving to Building G in 2009-2014, already planned in the plan, meaning that the machine shop will go somewhere else. Some of us have heard that it is proposed to go to Alameda. Where in Alameda would it go? There's no discussion in the plan for what will happen to welding and machine technology.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Yeah, Trustee Galassa.
I appreciate the comment that were just made, and I was under the impression from the early presentation that the educational master plans of each of the colleges were funneled through the Dempsey, I guess, Dempsey group, and then from there worked over with the Moss proposal and blended with the facilities master plan, or integrated with the facilities master plan. Was this statement not accurate? I was going to raise the question to what extent, as these proposals migrate through the system, that there is a reverse flow. That is, at certain points you hear or see or criticize what others have done at a certain level, and then it continues to proceed forward, but that there's always commentary from those who have a serious stake in this enterprise, and that means those people close to the students. So was this misinformation? Did I misunderstand? And then how do we reconcile that with the comment we just heard?
Two things. One, I think that, Trustee, that this is obviously an ongoing process, as you said earlier. I think there's nothing in this plan that is in concrete, including what you heard about the building, I think it's Building G. We don't know what we're going to do with it. It's somewhere down the line. We're talking about, for example, an option that was proposed by WLC on the standpoint of programs and where they might be utilized. But I think the dialogue will have to take place with not only the curriculum in mind, but also, again, where you're going to move things. It's a complex set of moves. It's almost like playing chess. One thing leads to another. When you move the library, it creates an opening. When you move a student now